both sides, receiver, defensive back here today. As Johansson pressured, using his legs, flags thrown in the backfield. As Johansson's going to look to make something happen with his legs. He does get pushed out of bounds close to the Continental 40-yard line, but we'll see what the flag is. Usually when it's thrown in that area of the field, it indicates holding, and that's what it's going to be. So that's going to wipe out the gain on the ground. Number 3, Riley O'Connell, the senior tight end, committing the flag. Wipes out what would have been a first down or close to it on the ground there on that scramble. So it's going to bring up 2nd and about 14. So behind the sticks here is the Ephs offense here with 8:38 to play in the first quarter. Here on this season opener at Steuben Field. Johansson's joined in the backfield by O'Connell and Orris. Little trickery here as it eventually ends up into the hands of Orris, but the Continentals were not fooled by it. Williams unable to get to the original line of scrimmage there as it, again, the carry ended up in the hands of Orris. Picked up about 2. Going to bring up 3rd and 12. As they tried to pitch it to the tight end there, pitch it back to the running back. A little misdirection, but again, the Continental defensive line sniffed it out. And a 3rd and long here. We'll see if their pass rush is able to get into the mix here. And we'll see if Johansson goes to the air. And he rolls out to his left. Looks long, does not have a man open downfield. And he's brought down, no choice but to try to use his legs. He's well short of the first down. And the Continental defense gets another stop. Good coverage downfield. You could see, from the quarterback's eyes there, he was looking downfield, just didn't have anybody open. Iacobaccio in coverage there, number 14. You got Bratchard back there, one of the better defensive backs in the NESCAC conference back there in coverage. But the Williams special teams unit out onto the field. Leonard back to return the punt again as it's up and away. Leonard's going to let it bounce again. This time he will not field it, and it will roll to about the Continental 15-yard line, and that's where Hamilton will begin their second drive. They're going to look to try to get some momentum going. 3 and out last time out. Incompletion through the air and nothing doing on the ground. A couple carries, one from Orr, one from Curzum. As the offense comes back out onto the field, we'll see if they can get the ball in the hands of Chester Boynton, one of the better receivers in the NESCAC conference. As 1st and 10, 3 receivers to the left or to the right. Curzum's going to keep it, rolls out right, tries to lower his shoulder and initiate some contact, but just a short gain on the ground there. Brings up 2nd and about 6. So just one pass attempt so far from Curzum. Again, this looks like potential running formation as well. We'll see, though, here on 2nd and 7 as he does go play action, looking long. Has a man downfield, but overthrown. Was, a little bit of pressure in the backfield may have disrupted that throw. Looked like the target downfield was Liam Leonard across the middle. But pressure in the backfield from the Williams defensive line altered the throw. Didn't look clean coming out of Curzum's arm there. So the incompletion brings up 3rd and 6. 6:01 to play here, first quarter at Hamilton College. Orr goes in motion. Empty backfield for Curzum. Takes the snap. Has some time. And incomplete. Looked like it was in and out of the hands of number 82. That's Matthew Kern, sophomore receiver. Said this Continental offense trying to break in a couple new skill position players. Some of the guys they lost from last year, one of Curzon's favored targets other than Boynton last year was Perez Sagnini, Ezra Lombardi. Both of those guys lost due to graduation, so some of these underclassmen, new pieces trying to emerge into new roles may take a little bit of time to develop that chemistry with Curzon and the rest of the offense. As a good Continental bounce, has this punt out of bounds back at the Williams 31-32 yard line, and it's still knotted up at 0 here in the first quarter. Again, season opener. Williams offense back out onto the field, their third possession of the game. And not much doing so far, just 29 net yards. We'll see if they can get some momentum going here on drive number 3. Continental defense, though, settling into the game. And a good start to this drive as they swallow up the ball carrier for a short gain there. In on the mix on that tackle, number 7, Matt Bucher, along with, it looked like number 93, Justin Edwards. So 1 yard gain there from number 28, Orris, as this Williams ground attack, and it's 9 carries for 25 yards so far. Not the best average. So, again, the Continental defensive line holding strong here to start the game. As Johansson awaiting the snap. 3 receivers to his right. Orris in the backfield. He'll take the snap out of the shotgun. And just another 2 to 3 yard gain, trying to plow his way through the middle. But Frank Ruiz, the senior defensive tackle, and one of the guys that's going to be called upon to be a leader on this defense this year, makes the stop, brings up 3rd and 4. And this is an area of the field, a down and distance where Williams could keep it on the ground. They could go through the air here. We'll see what Johansson decides to do. We'll see what the offensive coordinator dials up here on a big 3rd down. As the receiver goes in motion, that's Herring. And he'll get it. Or excuse me, that's number 3 with the catch. Riley O'Connell, the senior tight end. And he dives forward in the air for a Eves first down. And moves the sticks out to the Williams 47-yard line. Just the second passing attempt for Johansson today. 2 attempts, about 14 yards or so. As we got a ref stoppage here. This one of the scoreboards here at Steuben Field is just constantly buzzing. So stoppage in play here to figure that situation out. Gives a chance for both teams to head over to the sideline and talk things over, get a quick breather, get a quick water break. You see the Hamilton College defensive coordinator out talking to his unit there close to midfield. And you see the Williams offensive huddle over at the 40-yard line, close to their sideline. Again, talking to their offensive coordinators. So they did finally get that buzzer to stop. And you may hear on the broadcast a roar from the crowd and a roar from the sideline there. As a button there on the scoreboard may have just gotten stuck. Again, it was just a constant buzzer there for a couple minutes. So action about to resume. 3rd and 5 officially here. 3:48 to play. First quarter action here at Steuben Field. Season opener in the NESCAC Conference. As Johansson takes the snap under center, nearly bobbled, but full head of steam out of the backfield there was number 30, Matt Bott. Gets enough for first down yardage, it appears. So we'll see, he needed 5. He got out past midfield, ball spotted at the Continental 47-yard line. That was 1st and 10. Okay, so we have a 2nd and 4 after that last run. So prior to that play, again, keeping it on the ground. Bot 2 straight carries, getting it close to another Eafs 1st down. Again, this offense, heavy run so far, 12 carries to 2 pass attempts. And it's 3rd and 2 here. Again, a run situation, possible 4-down territory here on the Continental side of the field. As a receiver goes in motion, Bot takes the handoff, eludes one defender, and breaks it or cuts it back to the middle and out past the Continental 40 to the 39, 38-yard line. And enough for an Eafs 1st down as Bot's starting to get into a rhythm here. Again, out of the names you've seen getting carries has been a backfield by committee here today. So far, Bot, though, with the best average. But Oris with his best carry of the day there, that last attempt. And he'll get it again. And he's wrestled down by a couple Continentals there. In on the mix was Jacobaccio and Gannon Haley. And Jacobaccio, a freshman defensive back. Gannon Haley, one of these Continental defenders who's looking to step into a bigger role and fill some shoes left by some departing seniors from last year. This Continental defense trying to replace Aiden Hild, Nick Hoff, Ian Fratton Congeli. All those guys were impact players at times for the Continental defense a year ago. 2nd and 2, Johansson, play action, a rare throw, but another completion to Holden Guerin, the junior receiver. 2nd catch of the day for Guerin, and it's going to be enough for another Eafs 1st down. So best drive of the day so far for the Eafs. Sustaining a drive here so far. It was a drive that started, I believe, back at their own 32-yard line. And they put together a good drive here, a couple completions through the air, and they've been able to find a rhythm on the ground. They've been picking up good chunks, a gain of 8 this drive, a gain of 6 this drive. And the handoff this time goes to Bot, and he wrestles his way for a good gain out close to about the 10-yard line, it looks like. Matt Bucher finally able to bring him down. But another good run there from Matt Bott. And that's going to do it here for the 1st quarter as to Ben Field. Our score is still 0-0, but Williams knocking on the door. We'll take a short break. We'll be back with 2nd quarter action here at Hamilton College in just a few moments. You're listening to Continental Football on the Northeast Sports Network. And we're back here at Steuben Field. Teams trading sides of the field here as we start the 2nd quarter. It was a 0-0 1st quarter. Teams traded some punts. But the Eves putting together a good drive, and they're looking to cap it off and punch it in the end zone. They're faced with a 2nd and 4 here at the Continental 11-yard line. And Johansson will keep it himself, tries to get out to the outside, and does. Gets to the edge and pushed out right into that outside netting on the sideline. Eves sideline wanted a flag, not going to get one. But the scramble is good for another Eves first down, and a 1st and goal at that as they're inside the 5. As they're under center here for the 1st and goal in the backfield. You have Orris with it. He tries to again bounce to the outside to the left, and he gets enough space to get into the end zone and on the board for the first score of the season. The Eves punch it in first, 6-0, as they cap that drive off on the ground. Again, doing heavy damage, continuing to hand it off. The combination of Orris and Bott, really the trio, when you add in the QB Johansson, did a lot of damage there on that drive. And the extra point awaiting here, as it is converted. So 7-0 Williams as they take the first lead of the season. The Continental offense will try to match when we return. We'll take a short break. You're listening, or you're watching Continental football on the Northeast Sports Network. And we're back here, 14-21 remaining in the second quarter. Prior to the break, the Williams offense punched it in for the first score of the season, so the Continental offense will come back out onto the field looking up at a 7-0 deficit as they try to get some momentum. 2 straight 3-and-outs for the Continental offense. So we'll see what they can get going here as Liam Leonard is back to return the kick. And a good return here could provide a spark, but the Williams special teams unit not going to allow him to do it as it bounces out into the end zone for a touchback. So we said 2 straight 3-and-outs. The Hamilton offense has had drives of 3 plays, -1 yards, and 3 plays and 4 yards. So not the start to the season you'd like. Usually when you're coming into the first game of the season, you have a script of plays that you're going to start a game with and try to get into a rhythm with, and it has not worked to the Continental's luck so far. Credit the Williams defense for stalling everything, but right now Continentals need to get something going here on drive number 3 as they keep it on the ground here. 1st and 10. Handoff goes to Alistair Orr, and he picks up a decent chunk. About 4 yards, brings up a 2nd and 6. Curzum in the shotgun this time. Have not called Chester Boynton's name yet. Or again on the handoff, brings it out past the 30 to the 32. Be about 3 yards shy of a Continental first down. It's been a heavy dose of Alistair Orr so far. He has had most of the carries. We thought we might see some of Nate Wildman, and he's in the game here on this 3rd and 2. He's a threat out of the backfield as well. Had a good amount of catches last year and was a security blanket at time for Curzum or Ruby, whoever was in at QB. So 3rd and 2. Curzon trying to get guys set. A little bit of confusion. And it looks like the defensive side of the ball, Williams will call their first time out of the game. Again, we mentioned this is a big third down here for the Continentals. It's third and manageable, but you're still on your side of the field. It's not 4-down territory. You don't want to give the ball back to Williams. Again, they were an offense who started to settle into the game last drive. And you don't want to give them the ball back and tire out your defense even more. You need to sustain this drive here and allow your defense a chance to recover. They were just out on the field for a long, double-digit play drive where, their defensive line was really challenged on the ground, by the Williams offensive attack. So big 3rd and 3 here for the Continentals as Curzon comes out following the timeout in the shotgun or in the backfield with them. 2 receivers to the right, 2 to the left. Curzon takes a snap. Again, they keep it on the ground, trying to pick up the first. I don't believe, they do indicate first down. I didn't think Orr was going to have enough there. Was stopped at the line, but kept those legs moving, got a little push of the pile there, and it is enough for a big Continental first down. And as they do move the sticks, fresh set of downs. Couple of substitutions in the game for the Williams defensive line there prior to this play. Into the game, number 97, Jack Barber. Curzon looking to the sideline here for this 1st and 10. Plenty of time on the play clock here to get things right. Receiver in motion. He'll take the handoff. The sweep to the left side is gang tackled there by the Williams defensive unit. Getting the carry there was number 82. That's Matthew Kearns. Went in motion. Connor Atchison, the first tackler there for the Williams defense, but several other teammates closed in strong and prevented Kearns from keeping his legs moving that time. So 2nd and 7, just a short gain there on the wide receiver sweep. Curzon rolls out. He's pressured, going backwards, and no other option but just to try to dump it to Alistair Orr in the flat, but left it short. Ball hit the turf before it could get there. If it was complete, not a lot doing there as the defense was awaiting Orr. But good pressure from the Williams defensive line, forcing Curzon to scramble out of the pocket early in that play. It may have been a design rollout, but still they blew it up and forced him to go backwards. But brings up 3rd and 7. Empty backfield for Curzon. Again, he has a threat to keep it with his legs, but 3rd and 7, chance he's going to the air here. Quarterback keeper, and the draw up the middle. He's tripped up out past the 40 to the 41. Still not going to be enough as he needed to get out to the 45, 46 for another Continental first down. So the Williams defense gives up 1 first down, but that's it. As the Continental special teams punting unit back out onto the field. Papadopoulos back to return the punt. Back at his own 15. Oh, fake punt for the Continentals. They keep it on the ground. And a first down there. Number 9, Henry Ruby was in there. And that could have been your indicator there if you were Williams. Ruby back in at punting. He's a threat with his legs. We said he spent some time at QB last year, started a few games, and he's got some moves on the ground. A threat with his legs, and he shows why there. A big first down, and that could be the spark that this Continental's offense needs here in this second quarter as they have a fresh set of downs out close to midfield now, following the big play on special teams. Curzon takes a snap. Shovel pass to Wildman, and he gets out to midfield right at the 50-yard line. Pickup of 3, maybe 4 First time we've called Wildman's name here today. Decent gain there, though, to stay ahead of the sticks on first down. Brings up 2nd and 7, 2nd and 6. As Boynton goes in motion, he's been blanketed in coverage so far. As we got a free play here for the Continentals, potentially. They do take the shot to Boynton in his hands, but he's unable to haul it in. Had a couple guys around him, but a good ball there from Curzum. But it's still, early indications are the Williams defensive line jumped early. And a free 5 yards for the Continentals there. But you like the confidence from Curzum to take the shot, knowing that he had the free play, put the ball where only you thought Chester Boynton would bring it down, but unable to haul it in. Still, though, 2nd and about 2 following the penalty. As Curzum trying to get the defensive line to jump there again with a hard count. Or relays to the other side. Shotgun snap. Curzum looking in the air. Pass right side, complete. Liam Leonard hit out of bounds at the 32-yard line of the East. So the Continentals putting together their best drive of the day. As they're getting closer into Eve's territory, closer down towards the red zone here. Another first down. As Curzum starting to open up the offense here a little bit through the air. We've seen, them following a lot of runs so far too. 9 or 10 runs to 6 passes so far. 1st and 10. Handoff to Orr. He's tripped up out past the 30. Had some space there in the middle of the field, but tripped up. Ball's going to be spotted at the 29-yard line. So bring up 2nd and 6, 2nd and 7. 8:26 to play here, second quarter. Continental's trying to match the East last drive. They punched it in for a touchdown. Curzum shotgun. He's going to look to throw. He's got a couple pressure along both sides of the edge. Uses his legs, tries to spin by one defender, but knocked down by another. Making the tackle there, it looked like was number 40, Leslie Williams, senior linebacker. Curzum may have been able to get back to the original line of scrimmage there. Doesn't appear he was credited with a gain. So 3rd and 7 as the Continentals try to keep this drive going. Potential 4-down territory here. We'll see if they're stopped short, if they could settle for a field goal. But again, trying to convert a big 3rd down here. Curzum rolls out. Short completion to Orr. And he runs over one defender. And he has enough for a Continental first down. Got to about the 21-yard line. And got to love the way that he finished that run. Again, he initiated the contact, lowered his shoulder, and tried to run through his defender for even more yardage. So close to the red zone now, just outside of it. The ball spotted at the East 21-yard line as Wildman in the backfield now. Again, we said he's a threat to receive it out of the backfield. But this time he'll take the handoff, and not a lot of space there. A team of Eve's defensive linemen there to meet him, number 55 and 45 in there first. So Zakai Moore, sophomore linebacker, and Ryan Carney, senior defensive end, teaming up there. Moore, one of the leading tacklers on this defense. So we said at the top of this broadcast that this Williams team returns a lot of starters on the defensive side of the ball, Moore being one of them. And we do have Holden Gehring playing both sides of the ball today. Just pointed him out. He's number 5. He's the one in coverage on Boynton. And a good defensive play in coverage there from Papadopoulos. Breaks up the pass intended for number 89, Jack Hogue. Curzon thought he had him over the middle. Needed to get it up just a little higher over the outstretched hands of Papadopoulos. Big play to break it up. But prior to that last snap, we were talking about the matchup between Gehring and Boynton. And that could be one of the reasons we haven't called Boynton's name a lot here. Gehring on him in coverage a lot. You know, he's one of the top defensive backs in the NESCAC Conference. 5 interceptions last season. So, you know, Curzon may be wise not to test him a lot here this afternoon and play it safe with completions to his running backs, to his tight ends. We do have a flag on the play prior to this 3rd and 11 snap. So we do have a timeout called to avoid the penalty. Continental's in danger of a delay of game there. Again, already 3rd and 11. You can't afford an additional 5 yards to be tacked onto that to make it 3rd and even longer. We said this is a big drive here to match, you know, the Williams offense, score for score. And even if they have to potentially settle for 3 here, you know, you feel good about the way your offense has settled into the game. You're starting to find a little room on the ground with Alistair Orr. Curzon's got 3 completions on this drive for 25 yards. In their first 2 drives, 3 and outs, but this one, a few first downs to sustain it. They're looking for another one here on 3rd and 11 as the offense is back out onto the field following the timeout. Curzon in the shotgun. Boynton in the slot to his right. Or split out wide to his left. Curzon under pressure, gets a block. Has to get out of the pocket though still, and he's hit out of bounds past the line of behind the line of scrimmage. So Luke Mangini credited with the stop there. Again, behind the line of scrimmage was Curzon. He's pushed out, so Mangini going to be credited with potential sack. I think he was behind the line of scrimmage there, so they marked him behind the sticks. It looks like it's going to be 4th and 14 here as they bring out the field goal unit in to attempt the kick. Number 84, Carmelo Villardo, tries to get the Continentals on the board. First points of the season. It's going to be a long field goal, though. He's spotted at the 25, so it's going to be a 42-yard field goal attempt officially for Villardo. But before the kick, we do have a timeout. We'll see who it looks like. A Hamilton timeout Hamilton. We'll talk things over. Last time they brought the special teams unit out to the field, they extended the drive with a fake punt. So don't rule out anything here. But still long 4th down, 4th and 14. You know, look to see the Continentals play it safe here and try to just get on the board and convert that drive. Again, their best drive of the day so far here in this first half. You want to come away with points and feel good about it. As Villardo awaits the snap, the junior kicker. From 42. It's up and no good. Missed it to the left. Had the distance, but he pushed it to the left of the crossbars. So that drive stalled out close to the red zone for the Continentals. They got as far down to the 21-yard line, but stalled out, and a missed opportunity there as they come away with an empty trip as they're still stuck at 0. But their defense has been playing relatively well so far. Williams offense back in their own territory, just 5:10 to work with here in the second half. Continentals will get the ball to start the second half, so if your defense can get a stop here, you got to potentially a chance to double dip here and try to get a possession at the end of the half and to start the next half. But still, your defense needs to hold strong here. And they start to drive off with a stop close to or behind the line of scrimmage. Johansson went to the air for a wide receiver screen to Gehring, but the Continentals were all over it. Be 2nd and 10, potentially even 2nd and 11. .440 to go. Still the fourth completion for Johansson. He's 4 for 4, 26 yards. Again, they've ran it 17 times here this afternoon. Make it an 18th as quarterback keeps it himself. Johansson is 6th carry. He's over 20 yards rushing now. As it's going to bring up 3rd and about 8. 3rd and 7 potentially. And this is exactly what you need here if you're the Continental defense, is a quick 3 and out from Williams. Only a minute gone by on the clock since the Eves have taken over possession. If they can get a stop here, Continentals will have plenty of time to work with and a potential short field at that, as Williams will be, back up pretty far on their own side for a punt. Johansson, play action through the air, pass too high for his intended target. That time, number 89, Jimmy Montesano, sophomore tight end. A rare miss from Johansson today is his first incompletion, and that's what the Continentals needed, a 3 and out. And the clock stops there, too, on that incompletion. So an even bigger miss there from the Williams offense, as the incompletion gives the Continentals even more time to work with here to end this first half. Back to return the punt is Liam Leonard. And we'll see if he gets a chance to return this one. Hasn't had a chance to return a kick, really, or a punt. Not a lot of space. Oh, and he bobbles this one, puts it on the turf, and he's going backwards, trying to get by some guys, and a disastrous result there for the Continentals. Again, we thought they might have decent field position to work with following that stop, but a good punt and the muff there from Leonard cost the Continentals an additional 10, 15 yards or so, as once he fielded it, he tried to run it out, and he really only went backwards. So a good play, a good turn of events for the Williams special teams unit as they flip field on that punt, as the Continentals come back out way back at their own 6-yard line, still with 3:26 remaining and 1 timeout left to work with here in this first half, as they try to get on the board and go into halftime with a little momentum. Boynton in motion. Herring following him. Continentals keep it on the ground here on first down. Running it to the right side. They get out past the 10. Or spotted right at the 10. 4-yard gain. So 2nd and 8 officially they spot, it looks like, from the sticks. Keep it on the ground again, or a minimal gain or maybe no gain on that run. So following, again, that result on the punt return, the Continentals unable to do anything with their possession thus far, backed up way on their own end of the field, and you have to think they're playing it conservative. You don't want to make a mistake on this end of the field and give Williams a short field or a potential turnover before the end of the half. So we'll see if Curzum does go to the air here on 3rd and 7 to sustain the drive. And he is going to look up the field and hit as he throws through the hands of his target, number 88, Jack Francesa. And the incompletion brings up 4th down, as he thought Curzum might try to use his legs there at the last second, as they had a defender, closing in on him. found a target over the middle. Decent throw, just facing the circumstances, but just through the hands there of his tight end. Had a couple opportunities today where he's put the ball, close to the hands of his receivers, just unable to bring in the catch. As the punt is fielded by Papadopoulos at midfield. He picks up 2 or 3 on the punt return, as Williams has an opportunity now with 2 timeouts remaining and 1:57 to work with, a chance to build on their 7-0 lead. As they have plenty of time to work with. We'll see how their offense changes here in this situation, though. Under 2 minutes to play. Again, they're a heavy run team. 18 rushing attempts today for 71 yards. But, under 2 minutes to play, you don't want the clock running. We'll see if they go to the air more. Just 5 passing attempts for 26 yards. So the Hamilton defense ready back out onto the field here for the last 1:57 of the half. This unit has held strong here for the most part today. Last year they did not have the best result when they traveled to Williams. I believe they gave up 42 on the road last season to this team. So it's a new season, different teams, different offense, different defense, but still, if you're Hamilton, you have to be pleased with the way your defense has played in comparison to, how they fared against Williams last season. So 7-0 Williams, 1:57 to play. First half here at Hamilton College. East with the ball in Continental's territory. 1st and 10. Play action from Johansson. He looks downfield, has a man over the middle, close to the sideline on the left. And that's the biggest completion through the air today for either team. And it goes to Holden Gehring. It's going to be his 4th catch of the day. Playing both sides of the ball, playing defensive back and receiver this afternoon. And doing a good job at both. 4 catches today. Believe he's not allowed a reception when he's been targeted. And it's 1st and 10. Williams here close to the red zone close to the red zone. Ball spotted at the 23. Under center snap this time from Johansson. And number 28, Orris, is taken down, looks like by the face mask. And you see flags all over the turf. And it is against the Continentals. Should be a free 15 yards, at least 10 to 15 yards there on the personal foul, or it could be half the distance to the goal depending on where they're at on the field. But a costly penalty nonetheless. Half the distance to the goal, pushes it inside the 10-yard line. 1st and goal for Williams. 1:45 to play here first half. So they already had a short field to work with. Big completion through the air to Gehring on this drive. And that penalty yardage pushes them inside the 10, knocking on the door for their 2nd score of the day. First and 10. Ball inside the 10, looks like. Herring through the air, pass in and out of the hands, maybe a bit high for his target, number 89. That's Montesano. It looked like they spotted it originally at the 8, but they have it spotted at the 11 here for the 2nd and 10. Following the incompletion. Again, we wondered if this Williams offense would open it up through the air this drive, and they have 3 passing attempts from Johansson on this drive alone. And on 2nd and 10, he'll keep it on the ground, looking up towards the right side of the field, up the middle. Nick Angelino with the stop, credited with the tackle for the Continentals, but the ball is now inside the 10, spotted at the 9. for a big third and 8 here officially, because it looks like Williams can pick up a first down as they go to the air. Complete. Yeah. Continental's defenders saying incomplete. Ball hit the turf. Refs talking about it, and looks like they confer. We have we're looking at the backs of the receiver there from our vantage point. It appeared he may have caught it, but ball did hit the turf. Incomplete. 4th and 8. Kicking unit coming out onto the field for the Ephs as they look to add on 3 and make this a 2-score game late in the first half. They really had a chance to capitalize and make it a 14-0 game, but a lucky break there for the Continental defense as the Ephs were unable to haul that pass in and extend the drive. It looks like they had enough for first down yardage, but they'll settle for 3, make it a 2-score game nonetheless, 10-0. Continentals will get it back here with 54 seconds to work with. We're just under a minute to play here in the first half. We'll be back with the remainder of the first half in just a moment. Stay tuned. You're watching Continental Football on the Northeast Sports Network. We're back here at Steuben Field. 54 seconds remain in the first half. Continentals down 10-0, trailing the Williams College Ephs today here in the season opener, the home opener here for the Continentals. Not a lot of time left to work with here in the first half, but the Continentals will also receive the second half kickoff as well. They won the opening toss, elected to defer to the second half. Missed opportunity for the Continentals last time out. They put together their best drive of the day and were stalled out, forced to attempt a field goal, and unfortunately it was pushed a little far to the left. So Continental still searching for their first points of the season, but you have to be, at least have a little bit of confidence that your offense is starting to, figure things out and get into a rhythm and, find some areas to attack this Ephs defense. Curzon's going to roll out to the right, complete. First time we've seen a completion to Chester Boynton today. He was the second leading receiver as far as total receptions go in the NESCAC Conference last season. I think he was good for 63 catches, 61 catches, somewhere in that range. But first catch officially on the season for, one of the star players of this team, dual sport athlete here at Hamilton College. So we do have a timeout called. Looks like the last charge timeout for the Continentals. So they do have 46 seconds to work with, ball spotted at their own 34-yard line. So it would take a couple big chunk plays down the field to get into field goal range here at the end of the half and try to make up for that last attempt. But they have taken a couple shots down the field. On one of the free plays, they attempted a shot down the sideline to Boynton, in and out of his hands. They attempted a shot over the middle of the field, in and out of the hands of number 88. I think it was Kearns, the target on that one, or it was Jack Hogue, one of the two. But on 2nd and 1, Curzon looks downfield, nothing doing, has to use his legs, and chased from behind and brought down by number 93, Ben Yedid, sophomore defensive lineman. Curzon does get enough for the first down, though. 1st and 10, completion over the middle to his tailback, or as Continentals are looking to go into the hurry up here. Again, no timeouts, clock under 20, and they spike it to stop it here. Brings up 3rd and short. 3rd and probably 4, it looks like, judging by where they have the sticks. So they have to reset the clock to 21 seconds here. We'll see if the Continentals will look to a shot out of bounds here through the air or keep things close to the sideline. You know, if they pass it over the middle of the field, they're going to have to hustle to the line and spike it again. Again, just 21 seconds to work with following the correction of the game clock. 3rd and 3. Curzon looking down the sideline, rolls out to his right, and just throws it into the ground. He's out of the pocket, so no intentional grounding there. And looks like there was a target an intended target pretty close to that throw. Number 88, Francesa. So 4th and 3. We'll see how the Continentals play it here, as it looks like they're going to keep the offense out on the field as Curzon's in the shotgun. So looking to maybe get a gain of maybe 10, 15 yards through the air and kick a long field goal. But just a short pass over midfield to Orr, about the 49-yard line, picks up the first down and forces a spike. But a flag thrown. It looks like the Continentals may have been offside. That's what the Williams sideline is saying. As the Continentals with a mad scramble to try to get to the line of scrimmage, lined up, and one of their members of the unit lined up in front of the line of scrimmage there in an effort to try to hurry to get that play off before the end of the half. So the penalty charge to the Continentals will lead to a 5-10 second runoff, and that's going to expire the game clock here in this first half. So at the end of 2 quarters going into the half, the Continentals trailing the William College Eafs 10-0 here in the home opener, season opener for the NESCAC Conference. We'll be back with second half action here in about 15 to 20 minutes or so. Continentals will receive the second half kickoff when we return. Stay tuned. You're watching Hamilton College football on the Northeast Sports Network. We're back here at Steuben Field. Start of the second half, a few moments away. The hometown Continentals trailing the visiting William College Ephs 10-0 as we start the third quarter. The Continentals will get possession of the football here to start the third. A reminder, fans, this game, along with other Hamilton College athletic contests, can be watched from anywhere with any device. Hamilton College athletics can be streamed via computers, mobile devices, and OTT apps like Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire TV. Search for NESCAC Network in the App Store and download the channel or app to your favorite viewing device. For more information, visit nescac.com/NESCAC Network, all one word. So a little bit of a halftime recap here. Again, 10-0 Williams. Again, total yardage so far, they have 74 rushing yards to the Continentals' 29 rushing yards. 51 receiving yards to the Continentals' 47 receiving yards. Both teams been content to keep things primarily on the ground in the first half. They did open it up a little bit through the air once we got under 2 or 3 minutes to go. Both of the quarterbacks, Johansson and Kurzum, started to find their rhythm and complete a few passes. But it's been largely a defensive game and a story of Hamilton kind of hurting themselves. They missed a field goal. They stalled out a drive. They got pretty deep into Ephs territory and were forced to settle for 3, and they missed a field goal. They also had an opportunity where they forced to stop, had a lot of time to work with to end the half, and were poised to have a short field. And a special teams miscue from Liam Leonard cost them about 20 to maybe even additional yards and pushed them deep into their own territory instead of close to potentially midfield on that drive. So those errors have combined to be big difference makers in this game. Defensively, the Continentals have to be pleased, only allowing 10 points thus far. This was a Ephs team that hung 42 on the Continentals last season, but last season was a largely different Williams team. They were getting things done through the air that afternoon. For the most part, 5 touchdowns through the air from quarterback Owen McHugh last season. It's a different offensive attack from the Ephs this season, primarily on the ground with Owen Johansson. We thought we might see Drew Renzella in there at quarterback, but it's been all Johansson here in this first half, and it's been a ground attack for the Ephs offense. For the Continentals, they've been led by Kurzum, and we haven't called the name of Boynton thus far. We thought he was our player to watch for the Continentals coming into this game. He's been shut down, just 1 catch, 9 yards. He's been blanketed by Holden Gehring and some of the other defensive backs of the Ephs, including Papadopoulos. But Alistair Orr, 3 catches for 22 yards, along with 19 yards on the ground. And Kurzum, 6 of 14 for 47 yards through the air, has just 1 rushing yard today. Continental's just 29 rushing yards so far. This was an offense that struggled to run the ball last year as well, and it's just struggled to put the ball in the end zone. And so far through 2 quarters, familiar themes for the Continental offense. We'll see if they can change that in the second half as they await the second half kickoff. Back to receive Liam Leonard. And this one looks like it's going to stay in bounds and give Leonard a chance to run it out. He gets to close to the 30. He had some room along the sideline and showed a good burst out to the 30, so decent starting field position for the Continentals as they start the first possession of the second half, looking up at a 10-point deficit. Still looking for their first points of the game, but looking to continue where they left off in the first half. They did find a little bit of a rhythm. Again, they're at the end of that first half. Late in the second quarter, they were picking up first downs through the air, on the ground, following the start of the game where they started with 2 straight 3-and-outs. So we'll see how they start the second half. We'll see if they can get Boynton more involved. But the second half starts with a carry around the end to number 89, Jack Hogue. So we've seen that a couple times, wide receivers going in motion and taking the carry. And we'll see what they credit Hogue with that time. It looks to be 8, as it's a 2nd and 2. As a good start to the drive for the Continentals. As Curzum in the shotgun, couple of backs to his left. Handoff up the middle to Orr. He shakes loose of one tackler, just went underneath him, lowered his shoulder, and got out past the first down yardage. So fresh set of downs on the ground from Orr there, as the Continentals are out close to their own 40-yard line. Just a minute gone by here, third quarter. Season opener here at Steuben Field. Curzum in the shotgun. 2 receivers to his left. Orr in motion to his right. He looks in the flat to Orr. He's got a little bit of room in front of him. And he's a violent runner when he gets the ball. First half, he lowered his shoulder and ran over an Ephs defender, but that time it took 2 of them to get him down. 5 or 6 yard gain through the air. Makes it 2nd and manageable, 2nd and about 5, as the Continentals staying ahead of the sticks on first down. Curzum's 7th completion of the game, Orr's 4th catch of the game. He's been used a lot out of the backfield. He was a sparingly used back last season as a freshman. Big completion over the middle, out close to the Ephs 40-yard line, holding on to it through the contact was Jack Francesa. One of the biggest gains through the air for the Continentals this afternoon. Into Ephs territory now, 1st and 10 from the Williams 42-yard line. And that's a 15-yard gain there from Francesa. Play action, quick completion to Wildman, and he's hit right away by Papadopoulos. Came charging up from the defensive backfield there to limit Wildman from really doing much after the catch there. So a couple of short completions, short catches for Wildman here today. Just 5 net yards on his 2 catches. 2nd and 9 it brings up. But again, into Ephs territory now here on their first possession of the second half. Again, Continental's building off some of the momentum they built in the first half. We'll see if they can convert and get some points on the board, though. As Curzum fakes the handoff, pass complete to the left, but another short completion, minimal gain. Nothing doing after the catch there for Kearns, as the Williams defense is all over it there. So no gain, maybe even a loss of 1, but it brings up 3rd and 9, actually an officially 3rd and 10, so they do lose a yard there on the completion. So 3rd and 10, big down here for the Continentals to keep the drive alive and keep the offense on the field. Curzum tries to get an Ephs defensive lineman to jump, unable to do so. Takes the snap, completion right side, out of bounds at the 33, 34-yard line. Not going to be enough for a first down, but, enough on the completion there to entice the Continentals to keep the offense on the field. It's going to be a 4th and looks to be about 3. And a big play here, as it is 4 down territory for the Continentals. Curzum's under center here. Orr's in the backfield. Aboyan split out to the right. We'll see if they keep it on the ground. They fake. Short completion. Orr's got some room in the flat. Enough for the first. And down at the 20. Big 4th down completion for the Continentals. And Orr, he's been the go-to guy today. Picks up his 5th catch this afternoon, and none bigger than that one to keep the drive alive for Hamilton. As he's down at out of bounds at the 20, so in the red zone now. This is an area of the field where the Continentals got at the end of the first half, but they stalled out once they got there. So the Continentals hope for a better result here as they continue this drive in the red zone. Another completion, right side, Wildman. Curzum having some success completing to his running backs here today. That's the 8th completion to a tailback this afternoon, but just a 2-yard gain there. Curzum up to 88 yards passing after that one. 90 yards passing after that one. The stats just updated and awarded Wildman with a 2-yard catch. So 2nd and 8, 9, 10 to play. Hamilton has taken nearly 6 minutes off the clock with this drive, and a chance to narrow it to a 1-score game if they can punch it in the end zone here. Shovel pass to Wildman. He's got some room up the middle, and he's inside the 10, down at the 7 for a 1st and goal for the Continentals. First time they've been faced with a goal-to-go situation here. Good shovel pass and gain there from Wildman. Best gain through the air there, 11 yards he's credited with. Curzum looked like he was going to keep it to the right and then shoveled it into Wildman for the gain. Alistair Orr on the ground, up the middle, tries to take it inside the 5, and it looks like he's going to be spotted right at the 5. About a 2-yard gain there, brings up 2nd and goal. Orr up to 66 total yards on the afternoon on 14 touches. It's been the focal point of this offense. 2nd and goal from the 5. Continentals trying to get on the board. Curzum 5 on the play clock. Gets it off in time. Fakes the handoff to Orr. Rolls out to his left. Short completion to Wildman. He puts it on the turf. And the refs are going to rule it an incomplete pass or rule him down. We'll see. As they got all the refs talking things over. And they rule it incomplete from Wildman there. It didn't appear as if he caught it and then advanced the ball and made, a football move. So the incompletion as Hamilton catches a break, keep possession of the ball inside the 5 still, 3rd and goal. Would have been a disastrous turnover there had they ruled it a fumble. Big 3rd and goal. Curzum takes the snap, looking over the middle. Pass batted down at the line. Unsure of who got his hands on it, but it looks like it may have been number 64, Will Gale. And that's a big swat from Gale, as the target over the middle would have been potentially completed in the end zone. Curzum thought he had a man, but that's going to force the Continentals to trot out the field goal unit and try to add 3 to the scoreboard and still make this a 1-score game. So Velardo looking to make up for his earlier missed from 42. And that one no good from 22. Ball was spotted at the 5, so the short field goal missed again by Velardo. So another empty trip for the Continentals. This time they get all the way down inside the 5 and can't convert. 2 straight trips to the red zone has resulted in 0 points. So the Continentals, despite all of the momentum and the rhythm and success they're generating offensively now, nothing to show for it as the Williams offense back out onto the field and a chance to add to their 10-0 lead. Hamilton took 8 minutes off the clock with that drive, and again, nothing to show for it. So with 7:21 to play here in the third, Johansson and crew will keep it on the ground on 1st and 10. Orris, with his 8th carry of the day, picks up 4. He's up to 34 yards on the afternoon. 78 total rushing yards today for the Ephs. This was a rushing attack that racked up 220 yards last year against the Continentals. But again, a lot of new faces, new guys and new roles. Still having a lot of success here, though, this afternoon on the ground. But the 2nd and 6 carry, not a lot doing there for Orris. Again, maybe a yard, maybe 2. Brings up 3rd and 4, 3rd and 5. And this would be a big stop here for the Continentals if they can, not allow that empty trip to turn into any Williams momentum and get possession of the football back. So 3rd and 4 officially, as Johansson in the shotgun's got Orris to his right. Johansson under pressure. Going to lose a lot of yardage on the sack. Several Hamilton guys in there to meet him. Looked like number 44 in there first. That's Angelini, but there's a flag on the play. So we'll see what's called here. Will the penalty wipe out the sack, or will it give? Oh, and it's a defensive penalty, defensive holding against the Continentals. Number 3, and that wipes out the sack. Continentals thought they had a big stop there on 3rd down. 10-yard loss or more on the sack, but the holding call there on sophomore defensive back Ryan Lucarelli is going to give the Williams Ephs a free 1st down and a fresh set of downs, as the ball's going to be spotted at the Williams 36-yard line. 36-yard line, it looks like they got it spotted at. So 1st and 10, 5:48 to play here in the 3rd quarter. Johansson under center, play action, under pressure again. Gets by one guy, flag on the play, pass complete. Up the sideline to number 88, Sam Jaffe. We'll see if it stands, though. Penalty in the backfield, again, usually indicates holding, and that's what it's going to be. So this time, flag wipes out a big play from the Ephs. So instead of it being a big gain, 15, 20 yards up the sideline to Jaffe, the holding penalty is going to bring the Ephs back 10 yards and spot them back at their 26-yard line, 1st and 20. So that would have been one of the bigger gains this afternoon through the air for this Ephs passing attack. Haven't decided to go to the air often, but 1st and 20 now they may need to resort to it. First and 20, they keep it on the ground though, and the ball carrier is swallowed up by the defensive line. In there on the tackle was number 97, James Bailey, along with number 54, Gunnar Watson. So 2nd and 20, no gain. Ball still at the Ephs 26-yard line. Continental's trying to hold strong despite, some of the missed opportunities the offenses this had today. Again, should, at the very least, Continental should have 6 points on the board, but nothing doing. Here on 2nd and long, Johansson evades the sack, finds some room up the sideline, has good yardage, pats the 1st down and more into Continental territory. Huge play with his legs. Continentals thought they had him stopped with a long sack again, but he spun out of it, found some room up the sideline, and is into Continental territory, spotted at the 45-yard line. Huge play, biggest chunk on the ground from Owen Johansson here this afternoon. 30-yard pickup. Short gain on first down, but a huge conversion on second and long, faced, with that holding penalty, long down and distance, seemingly about to be sacked. Huge play to evade the pressure and make something happen to keep the drive alive. So 2nd and 8, ball spotted on the Continental 43-yard line. Just over 3 minutes to play here in this second half. Short, or 3 minutes to play in this third quarter. It's been a short third quarter. Again, both teams content to run the football out. It's going to keep the clock running. Hamilton took 8 minutes off the clock with their drive. And so far, the Ephs have taken about 4 minutes off the clock. We got a timeout on the field. We'll take a short break. We'll be back with more Hamilton College football. Stay tuned. You're watching the Continentals on the Northeast Sports Network. And we're back here at Steuben Field, 2nd and 8, following the Ephs timeout. First charge timeout of the half, as there are a couple plays removed from a big scramble of 30 yards from Johansson. They keep it on the ground, 2nd and 8, along the left side. Ball carrier brought down, it looked like 93 in there on the stop. Justin Edwards, freshman defensive tackle. So we're up 3rd and looks like 5. Here, ball spotted on the Continental 40. This could be 4-down territory, though, for the Ephs here in Continental territory. This part of the field, it's a long field goal from this area. Gehring goes in motion. Ephs fake it up the middle, and Johansson around the left side finds enough yardage for the first and then some. Tripped up and brought down close to the 30-yard line. So Johansson picking up big chunks of yardage with his legs here this drive. He's going to be up over 60 yards rushing here this afternoon following that carry. And it's another one that's enough for a first down. He's making timely throws with his arm here to keep drives alive, and consistent runs with his leg. 9 carries, 63 yards, leading rusher for the Ephs this afternoon. They're up over 123 yards as a team. And here's some more as the QB draw leads to 9 there. It looks like just shy of the first down yardage, but another big chunk as they're starting to tire out this Hamilton defensive line. They've been tested this afternoon. The Ephs with 27 rushing attempts this afternoon to just 8 passing attempts. As we're under a minute to play here in the third quarter, 2nd and 2 under center. The handoff up the middle is bounced out to the left. And up the sideline is Orris, one of his better runs this afternoon, as the Ephs are ripping off big gains with each attempt. Another first down on the ground. And this one's close to being inside the 10. We're going to be spotted at the 14-yard line. Inside the 15s. So we are at the 13-yard line, it looks like. But it looks like the Eats are going to be content to let the third quarter clock run out. And it was a scoreless third quarter. Again, one Continental possession that resulted in an empty trip. And the Eves still working on their possession that they had in the third quarter. And they look to cap it off with a score when we return here at the start of the fourth quarter. Continentals trailing by 10 here at the end of the third. Stay tuned for the fourth. You're watching Hamilton College football on the Northeast Sports Network. Start of the fourth quarter, Eves ball with the lead, 10-0, 1st and 10 at the 13-yard line. As Johansson again on the ground, big room up the middle, and he's going to get this one in for a touchdown. Huge gap up the middle, and he bounced it just to the left, and it's a 13-yard rushing touchdown from Owen Johansson, and it makes it a 16-0 Williams lead over the Hamilton Continentals. So a 3-score game now awaiting the extra point as Johansson caps off the drive with a 13-yard touchdown, 84 yards on the ground now for him, and his first rushing touchdown of the season. Orris with the other rushing touchdown here today. And the extra point is up and good, so it's 17-0 Williams over the Continentals as they capitalized off of that drive and the limited drives they've had here so far to start this second half. So the Continentals will get it trailing by 3 scores when we return. Still early into the fourth quarter, 14:53 to play. It'll be Continentals ball when we return. You're watching Hamilton College football on the Northeast Sports Network. $14:53 to play, 17-0 Williams. They capped off a 10-play, 80-yard drive that took 7 minutes and 28 seconds off the clock with a 13-yard touchdown run from the quarterback, Owen Johansson. Leonard to return it for the Continentals, looking for a spark. And he gets it out past the 20 to the 22, maybe 21. And that's where the Continentals will take over with the ball. They had a 13-play, 68-yard drive to start the third quarter, but all for nothing as they had a missed field goal. They had a 15-play, 49-yard drive in the first half that resulted in an empty trip that took 9 minutes off the clock. So 2 long drives where you have to feel good about the way you possess the football, but again, nothing to show for it with both drives stalling out in the red zone. But 1st and 10 in the shotgun. Pass intended for Orr on the quick slant over the middle. Incomplete and hits the turf. So if you're Hamilton, if you want to get on the board here, your hope is that you can get Chester Boynton going a little bit here. Again, just one catch, 9 yards this afternoon. Gehring has done a good job on him in coverage, but it hasn't just been him. It's been Papadopoulos at times. It's been number 26, Wyatt Cotton at times. It's been a team effort to hold one of the better receivers in the NESCAC conference in check. But 2nd and 10, Kurzem in the shotgun, takes the snap. Or takes a route out of the backfield, and he has him over the middle. Big catch, and he's got some room to run. If he can outrun his man, he's got a touchdown, and he has one. Huge play for the Continentals as Orr outruns the competition for the first Continental touchdown of the season, and just like that, it's 17-6. Alistair Orr with the big play that the Continentals have been searching for. He's been the go-to guy all afternoon. And he takes what was a 15, 20-yard pass through the air to the house with his legs. And we'll see if Velardo can tack on the extra point. Or makes up for the drop on the quick slant in a big way to get the Continentals on the board. And the extra point is up and good. So the Continentals are on the board for their first points of the season, and they trim the score to 17-7, trim it to a 2-score game following the Alistair Orr touchdown. And just like that, the Continentals have life. And we'll see if that can spark their defense following the huge play from Orr. Trying to get the official yardage there. It looked like it's going to be a 78-yard touchdown reception for Alistair Orr. The ball was spotted at the 22-yard line on that 2nd and 10 play. So Orr took it the distance, caught it at about midfield, and outran, I believe it was number 24, Connor Atchison. So with 14:32 to play, we've had 2 quick scores to start this 4th quarter after what was a scoreless 3rd quarter. And Velardo kicks it away, or about to kick it away. And it's up and away. Back to return it is Papadopoulos. He signals for a fair catch and content with the touchback. So it's 17-7 now as the Williams offense heads back out onto the field. If you're the Continentals, though, you have to find a way to stop the ground game. It's starting to really pick up a lot of momentum. 154 yards on the ground for the Eefs here today. And again, we mentioned they had 221 yards on the ground last season. And they're approaching that mark this afternoon. If they can continue the way they did last drive, they picked up long gains, big chunks of yards. Johansson had a 30-yard pickup on the ground, as well as a 13-yard touchdown run last time out. And on 1st and 10, again, we had that expectation of them content to keep it on the ground, and they do just that. And a first down pickup right away. First carry of the drive goes to Orris, and he's starting to settle into this game too. He was bottled up a little bit in the 1st and 2nd quarters, but he's now up over 50. He's up to 59 yards on the ground now. An 11-yard pickup there. So this Continental defense, they need to figure things out along the defensive line, but it could just be a case of them getting worn down as it's another big pickup for Orris. Another first down, 2 carries, 2 first downs on this drive for John Orris. He was one of the players to watch for this offense coming into this game. He was the 2nd leading rusher a season ago, and he looks poised to be a featured back on this team this year. Into the game here on 1st and 10 Following that big run, though, is now Matt Bott as Johansson's under center. And he goes right up the middle to Bott, and he's got a first down and then some as he's into Continental territory all the way to the 30. And that's going to be a 23-yard pickup, maybe 24 depending on where they spot it, as the East picking up where they left off last drive on the ground. You know, when you're picking up gains like this on the ground routinely, you know, with consistency, you know, I wouldn't pass it either. You know, if it isn't broke, don't fix it. You're up over 200 yards rushing now here this afternoon following that gain, and looking for more with Bott keeping his legs moving. Guy trying to grab his jersey and rip him down, but he gets through that as well. And we do have a Continental defender on the turf. That's Kyle Bratcher. We haven't had a chance to say his name much today because there really haven't been a lot of passing attempts from the Eafs, but he is one of the better defensive backs in the NESCAC Conference. Led the Continentals in interceptions last year, led the Continentals in pass breakups. You know, a very active player in the defensive backfield, not afraid to mix it up and, you know, try to tackle running backs and get active in off blitzes. But he looks to be jogging off under his own power. A little bit shaken up, though, following that play. But nonetheless, following that last carry from Bott, it's 1st and 10 inside the 20-yard line now. Ball spotted at the 16, so the Eafs doing a great job of stealing back the momentum following that Continental touchdown. Huge play from Alistair Orr, the 78-yard touchdown. And you would never know it by the way the Eafs have responded. They're just ripping off huge gains on the ground with 5 straight runs of double digits here on this drive. They've had runs of 11, 11, 24, 13, and then that last one there from Bott. Ball spotted at the 6, it looks like. 1st and goal. So the Eafs looking to punch it in and regain a 3-score lead. As again they go to Bott, and little opposition from the defensive line there on that drive as the Eafs run it down their throat for a touchdown. 6-yard rushing touchdown from Matt Bott, his first rushing touchdown of the season. So they've got touchdowns from Bott, Orris, and Johansson on the ground today as they regain a 3-score lead, 23-7, 11:29 to play here in the 4th quarter at Steuben Field. As the Eafs await the extra point. On to kick, number 34, John Young, puts it through the uprights. So 6 or 7 straight, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 straight runs from the Eafs there on that drive to cap off the touchdown, and it's 24-7. We'll be back. Continentals will have the ball when we return, looking up at a 3-score deficit. Stay tuned. You're watching Hamilton College football on the Northeast Sports Network. We're back here, 11:29 to play in the 4th quarter. The Eafs about to kick it away. They capped off a 6-play, 75-yard drive, all on the ground. Took 3 minutes off the clock. Hamilton still with a lot of time left to work with, but still looking up at a 3-score deficit. Time starting to become an issue. It can affect how you call the game here at this point, as you're chasing points at this junction of the game. We'll see what they come up with, though. They did strike quick last drive, just 2 plays, 78 yards, 14 seconds with the big Alistair Orr completion for the touchdown. And he's back on the field. He's been the leader for this offense here today. 6 catches, 117 yards, 9 carries, 25 yards. So 1st and 10, ball spotted at the 30 for the Continentals. Orr in motion. Curzum over the middle, completing it through traffic. And making the catch there, Liam Leonard. Good for about 9, it looks like. So it's going to be 2nd and 1 following the completion to Liam Leonard. His 2nd catch of the day. He's got up to 2 catches, 22 yards on the afternoon. Curzum, approaching 200 yards passing today. Again, a big chunk came on the last drive. But another completion to Leonard as this Continental offense trying to go quick here, resorting to the hurry up. 2 straight completions to Leonard, has the ball into Eaf's territory. Ball spotted on the Williams 39-yard line. Curzum remains in the shotgun. 3 receivers to his left, 2 to his right. So 5 wide for Hamilton here on 1st and 10. We're at 10.5 minutes to play here in the 4th. Curzum takes the snap, rolls out to his right. Pressure immediately from number 55. That was Ryan Carney. Came racing through into the backfield to disrupt that play almost immediately. So not much to do there for Curzum other than to just throw it away. Brings up 2nd and 10. Again, you'd have to expect that Hamilton's going to be pass heavy the rest of the way. Only Jeff generated 43 yards on the ground. As Curzum short completion to Orr. Over into the left flat. Gets about 2, maybe 3. Short completion, though. Still good for Orr's 7th catch of the day. 11th catch by a running back this afternoon. Brings up 3rd and 8. Crucial 3rd and 8 for the Continentals as they try to keep pace with Williams. Again, the game getting a little bit away from them here. Trailing by 17 with 9:40 to play. 3rd and 8 snap to Curzum. Steps up in the pocket. Over the middle. Able to hold on through the completion of the catch. Through to the ground was number 89, Jack Hogue, the junior receiver. And a big one as he holds on for the 1st down. Out past the 30, ball spotted at the Williams 28-yard line. And Curzum's over 200 yards passing now, 221. 19 for 31, and goes to the air again. And a big completion over to the right sideline, close to the 10-yard line. Over to Cole Camparelli, sophomore receiver. And the Continentals are into the red zone now as they continue to have to move fast and strike quickly here, trailing by 3 scores halfway through the 4th quarter. Orr splits out to the left. Curzum takes the snap, looking right. Pump fakes, under pressure from his blind side, evades the pressure, looking over the middle, and pass completed again over to Caparelli. 2 straight completions to the sophomore, has him at the 2-yard line, and Curzum's heating up through the air. Under 8 to play. As we got a timeout, I believe, called by Williams. 30-second timeout. as they want to talk things over, as the Continentals have had their way through the air this drive, the last couple of drives. Curzum up to 247 yards passing. Most of that here in the second half. So the timeout is charged to Williams. They have one remaining. Hamilton with all three left here to work with in the fourth quarter. We'll see how they play things following the timeout inside the 5, spotted at the 2. They punch it in here. It could be a 2-score game. And a lot of time left to work with. You can trust your defense and kick it away. Don't have to resort to an onside kick yet. But more importantly, they do have to punch it in first. They've had a couple drives stall out deep into the red zone here this afternoon. But from 2 yards away, they look to make it a 10-point game if they can punch it in here. Curzum in the shotgun. He's going to keep it up the middle to Orr. And he's hit a little bit into the backfield. Can't get by that first defender and plow his way into the end zone. I believe the ball's going to still be spotted at the 2 as his knee went down before that second effort. So it brings up 3rd and goal. All right, 3rd down. 2nd and goal. Empty backfield here for Curzum. Quarterback keeper is an option here, but quick slant over the middle. Touchdown, Continentals, the 2-yard strike on the slant to Matthew Kearns. So a couple sophomore receivers coming up big on that drive. Kearns with the touchdown. Caparelli with 2 big catches to keep the drive alive. And the Continentals with their second score of the half as they trim the deficit following hopefully a successful extra point. They can trim the deficit to 10 points and make it a 2-score game with a lot of time to work with here in the fourth. And the extra point is up and good, so it's 24-14. A quick drive there for the Continentals as they strike through the air to make it 24-14. We'll take a short break. Williams will receive the ball when we return, but the Continentals are back into it. Stay tuned for fourth quarter action. You're watching Hamilton College football on the Northeast Sports Network. And we're back here at Steuben Field, 7:24 to play in the fourth quarter. Continentals strike for a touchdown, 9-play, 70-yard drive. Most of the damage done through the air. 2-yard touchdown by Matthew Kearns makes it a 2-score game as Williams awaits the kickoff. They have their return team up a little bit close here in case the Continentals pursue an onside, but Velardo kicks it away deep over the head of Gehring, and he'll let it bounce into the end zone and out of bounds. And that's where Williams will take over at their own 25-yard line following the touchback. But if you're the Continentals, yes, you found some life on the offensive end. Yes, you're able to strike quick through the air and get into the end zone, but they have not been able to stop the ground game the last 2 drives here by the Eafs, especially the last drive. Williams was picking up double-digit gains with ease, with essentially every carry. So if you're the Continentals, you need a big stop here. You know what's coming. You know the Eafs are going to keep it on the ground, and they still haven't been able to stop it with any consistency here in this second half, as the first play of this drive does indeed go to the ground. Number 9, Marvin, with the carry, just his second attempt this afternoon, but it is good for 5 yards. 2nd and 5 from the 30. And if you're Williams with with the clock running every time you run the ball, with you picking up big chunks every time you put the ball in one of your tailbacks' hands, you're going to be content to hand it off every play. Why would you go to the air and risk stopping the clock when the Continental's defensive line hasn't shown the ability to stop the run here in the second half? And another first down gain, another big chunk play on the ground. Number 9, John Marvin Jr., running back, getting in on the action here the last couple of carries. So you have Orris with 86 yards rushing, Johansson with 84 yards rushing, Bott with 56 yards rushing, and Marvin now with 22. So 248 yards total on the ground. And the Continentals were able to keep them in check for the most part in the first half, kept them under 75 yards rushing in the first half. Most of this has come in this second half as the Continentals' defensive line has been worn down. 38th rushing attempt for the Eefs here on that last play, and they're pushing the pile, looking for more. So the tush push results in a couple extra yards there. And it brings up 2nd and 5 at midfield. 2nd and 3, they actually have it spotted at the scoreboard. But ball at midfield. And this is not what you want here if you're a Continental fan, is just seeing your defensive line get gashed. And when you start to feel like you have momentum, feel like you have life, your offense is, coming up with big plays, and you can't play complementary football and get the stops you need, at this stage of the game, it can be a little disheartening when all Williams is doing is lining up and running it play after play after play. So we have a timeout called by Williams. That's their last timeout of the half here with exactly 5 minutes to play. This was a defensive game for the most part here in the first half. It was a 10-0 game at halftime. It seemed like both defenses were really, settled into the game, getting after it. But this second half, it's been, a different story. The last 4 drives has resulted in touchdowns, 2 by each team here as both offenses has come to life. They've kind of figured out each defense so far and found consistent ways to attack them. But again, if you're the Continentals, you need a stop here as they're faced with a 2nd and 4 with Johansson under center. Up the middle, the carry from Orris, nothing doing that time. As again, the Continentals expecting run. Limit that one there. No gain. 3rd and 4. Maybe lost a yard there. 3rd and 5. As the Continentals looking to get off the field. 20 seconds on the play clock. You'd have to think Williams will eat that all the way down before they take the snap. 7 on the play clock. As Johansson takes it again up the middle. And meeting him in the backfield right away was Matt Bucher, the junior linebacker, shot out of a cannon there to make the play, and that's the stop the Continentals needed to get the defense off the field and continue to try to chip away at this deficit. Just 4:13 left to work with here, and Williams is going to try to pin him deep here on the punt, as they're likely going to bring the special teams unit on the field and kick it away. But before they can do so, we do have a timeout called by Hamilton, their first of the half, so they could stop that clock and not allow Williams to run it below 4 minutes here before punting it away. So they got 4:13 to work with, 2 timeouts to work with, and their offense has struck pretty quick. The last couple of drives, they had a 9-play 4-minute drive that resulted in a touchdown and a 2-play 14-second drive that resulted in a touchdown. So they've opened things up through the air. They've shown an ability to make some big plays and work quickly, and they're going to have to do that with just a little over 4 minutes to work with and trailing by 10. So the offense back out onto the field. Curzum, 249 yards passing, 2 touchdowns. Alistair Orr, 121 yards receiving and a touchdown, 25 yards rushing as well. Some of the other contributors there today, though, Liam Leonard, 3 catches, 39 yards. Caparelli, 2 catches, 26 yards. Francesca, 2 catches, 22 yards. So Curzum spreading it around. 8 different receivers have caught a ball. And Curzum going to have to continue to work his magic here on this drive. Steps up in the pocket, over the middle, complete to Leonard, 40-yard line for a 15-yard strike. And working quickly, hustling his troops to the line as we're under 4 to play. Last connection, good for 18 there to Leonard. Short pass to the running back, over the middle, or trying to get as many yards as he can, dives forward past the 45 to the 46, and Continental's remaining in the hurry up. Williams trying to scramble to get guys off the field in time. Curzum trying to snap it quick, but number 48 from the East gets off in time to avoid too many men on the field. Curzum tries to step up into the pocket, but he steps up right into the arms of Ryan Carney, the senior defensive end. He's made his presence felt this afternoon, that time with the sack, but he's also had some pressures and pursuits of Curzum that has caused him to hurry out of the backfield and make quicker decisions than he'd like. But we do have Curzum down on the field following that last play, that sack by Carney. So we'll take a short injury timeout. We'll be back with fourth quarter action here at Hamilton College. You're watching Continental Football on the Northeast Sports Network. And we're back here at Steuben Field. The injured player that was down was Luke Curzum, but he was able to get back up and go over to the sideline. But in at quarterback right now, number 19, sophomore Connor Laverty. Thought you might see Henry Ruby, saw him warming up on the sidelines. But into the game is Laverty at a huge moment in the game, too, with Hamilton driving, trying to narrow the deficit and make the comeback with little time remaining. We'll see what kind of poise the sophomore can play with. Thought you might see Curzum try to stay in the game. He was stretching it out. He's jogging on the sidelines, trying to stay loose. And you feel bad for him. He was really heating up and getting things done with his arm and his legs. We'll see if he does make his way back into this game, as I'm sure he'd like the chance to cap off a comeback that he's helped lead here in the second half. But again, Laverty in the game. He picked up a first down run with his first play. So ball's at midfield, just past midfield into Williams territory. 2:27 to play with. Laverty's looking to throw, and it's incomplete. Intended over to the Williams sideline. Francesa unable to haul it in. Would have been a short gain had he caught it. He was over at around the 45-yard line. So ball still stays at the 48, 2nd and 10, 2:22 to play with here in this fourth quarter. So we have Boynton out to the right, Leonard out to the right, a couple receivers to the left for Laverty. Takes the snap. He looks left, pump fakes, looking down the left sideline, and pass intended for number 80 down the sideline. That was Caparelli, and he was blanketed in coverage, and a flag called on the Eves. Too much contact, and it's going to be a spot foul, pass interference against the Eves, and a big break there. Wyatt Cotton, the junior defensive back, called for the penalty, and it's not going to be a spot foul, but it's just going to give the Continentals a fresh set of downs and keep the drive alive as they do try to take the shot down the sideline. Laverty looking up the sideline again this time. Short pass over the middle. They have some space. Caparelli over the middle, tackled down at the 14. Thought Laverty might keep it with his legs there, but found Caparelli and just flipped it to him over the middle. Or was that Curzum, as I see Curzum back into the game? So timeout called. Continentals still have 2 left, as they were not charged with an injury timeout when Curzum went down. And that was Curzum in on the last couple of plays. So returning from injury, he was the one that took the shot down the field to Caparelli and then found Caparelli over the middle. So looking like he's okay. He had to use his legs to scramble around and elude the pressure to find Caparelli over the middle there. So that's a good sign if you're the Continentals that you see your quarterback's able to show that mobility and scramble if needed. There's been times where he's been under pressure here today. With that last completion, though, extends the drive, fresh set of downs, 1st and 10 from the 15-yard line, it looks like. As Curzum again looking to throw over the middle, complete. Leonard hit right away at the 10. As we're under 2 minutes to play. Timeout called. Second charge timeout's going to leave the Continentals with 1 remaining. It'll be interesting to see how they use that one. In all likelihood, if they score here, an onside kick is upcoming. Especially with only 1 timeout remaining, you score here, you cannot kick it away. At that point, Williams would be able to just kneel the game out, get into victory formation. First and foremost, Hamilton has to punch this one into the end zone before any onside kick were to occur. But, credit the Continentals for showing some resolve here in the second half. It looked like the game was potentially getting away from them here a bit. It was 24-17, 24-7. Momentum was squarely, on the side of the Eves. They were, running the ball at will. But the Continentals just kind of stayed the course, kept battling, and they're climbing back into this game, and they can make it a 1-score, a 3-point game if they're able to convert here. It's 2nd and 5 from the 9-yard line. as Curzon takes the snap. Over the middle, complete, or bobbles it, and it hits the turf. And usually in those situations, those bobbles can sometimes result in interceptions. So lucky that no Eafs were in the direction to catch the deflection. And an incompletion does stop the clock. So still 1:48 to work with, 3rd and 5. Definite for, well, actually the Continentals could settle for a field goal here as it is a 2-score game if they're unable to convert here on 3rd and 5. But you have no doubt they'd like the touchdown first. Curzon looking back of the end zone and too far for the intended target there, Matthew Kearns. Kearns does have a touchdown reception here today, but too far out of the reach, unable to make the play there. And Hamilton's going to elect to trot the field goal unit in. Again, it's a 2-score game. You're going to kick the onside kick either way. But it's a big field goal here for Villardo. He's missed 2 field goals this afternoon. One was a short 22-yarder. This one's going to be from 26 yards. And it is needed here. And it's up and away. And it's going to be good. So the field goal trims it to 24-17, 1:40 to play. You know, a couple of those missed opportunities earlier in the game looming large, though, at this point. You know, they've left 6 points off the board with those 2 missed kicks. You know, it could have been even more. They were down at the 6-yard line and were forced to settle for that one of those missed field goals earlier in the game. So, you know, those red zone missed opportunities, you know, could be the difference maker if ultimately Hamilton ends up on the losing side of things. But regardless, still a much more competitive affair between these two teams than last year's matchup. Again, it was a 42-7 ball game at Williams last season. Hamilton playing some inspired football this season here in this season opener, home opener. And we await the onside kick here from Villardo. If Hamilton's able to get it, they still have life. If Williams recovers it, they're going to be able to ice out the game. Kicks away on the turf, takes a bounce. We'll see who has it in the dog pile. You never know. And early indications are Williams thinks they have it. And the refs do point in the direction for the Eafs. And you thought maybe once you saw that ball take a bounce that Hamilton could end up with it. A good onside attempt there from Villardo. But credit the Eafs for getting on it, scooping the ball up. And they're going to be able to get into victory formation here. Hamilton can only stop the clock once here with just that one timeout remaining. So expect nothing more here than just a few kneel downs from Johansson. And they're going to run it up the middle and try to just get that first down and end the game without a doubt. But short on the carry there. He does pick up about 6 or 7. Forces the Continentals to take their last time out, the last time they can stop the clock here. So 90 seconds remaining here at Steuben Field. Williams is going to have a second and looks like 4. If they elect to kneel it down the next two downs, they can take the game clock pretty close to being all the way expired. But we'll see how they play it. If they pick up the first down here, then they can without a doubt get into victory formation. We'll see how they play it here, but it looks like they got two in the backfield. Orris along with a lead blocker. And he's going to get the handoff up the middle. Gets by the initial contact, and he's wrestled down by number 3, Ryan Lucarelli. And it looks like he's got enough for first down yardage. As the clock continues to run and the chain gang resets for a fresh set of downs. So Hamilton cannot stop it. And we have just a minute to play. And it looks like kneel down victory formation for the Ephs. If you're the Ephs coaching staff, you have to be pleased with the victory. It may have been a little bit more hard fought than they would have liked this afternoon. Credit the Continentals for not giving up, playing inspired football here in this season opener, and really playing until the final whistle. And had a few things gone differently for the Continentals today, had they been able to cap off a few of their earlier drives, this would be a different result for Hamilton. But it is going to stand as a victory for the Williams College Ephs here in this season opener for the NESCAC Conference and the home opener for the Hamilton College Continentals. They'll drop to 0-1. The Ephs will improve to 1-0. Again, a 24-17 victory. For the Continentals, they were led by Curzum today, 26 for 40, 298 yards, 2 touchdowns in a losing effort, as well as Alistair Orr, 8 catches, 128 yards, 25 yards on the ground, and a receiving touchdown. But the Ephs' rushing attack was too much to handle for the Continentals today, 258 total yards on the ground, just 51 yards passing. That's all they needed, though, as Orris, Johansson, and Bott carved up the defensive line of the Continentals all afternoon and was the catalyst for them here in today's opening season victory. So that's going to do it for our broadcast. Once again, the final score, 24-17. The Continentals dropped the season opener to the William College Ephs. I'm Matt Sproul. You've been listening to Continentals football on the Northeast Sports Network.